taxes and general obligation bonds to a popular vote is a common theme. Given that in this county, it is virtually guaranteed that a group of people who would turn out for a special election would vote against any obligation, do you believe this would produce better long-term results for the county?
No, I don't. One of the things that I've always maintained is that we're a republic, and as a republic, we vote for people to represent us. And of course, the legislature gives us a certain amount of leeway as elected officials in the county to look at the tax structure. Obviously, we have the utility tax that is one of those taxes that is at the discretion of the commission to raise. Sales tax, I'm not sure about on that one. But utility tax is not even capped out at its top. It tops out at 5%. And so there's leeway there. I'm not disposed to increasing people's taxes. I'd like to look at things very closely before I would do something like that. But with the 5 cent a gallon gas tax, I think that was a necessary move by the commission.
Mr. Lynn, I'll ask you the same question. The subject of bringing all taxes and general obligation bonds to a popular vote is a common theme. Given that in this county, it is virtually guaranteed that a group of people who would turn out for a special election would vote against any obligation, do you believe this would produce better long-term results for Douglas County?
Actually, it'll produce catastrophic results. And a perfect example of that is this community's unwillingness to vote itself a gas tax 20 years ago when we could have developed the war chest that we needed to fix the roads, and we didn't. That's a perfect example. And when you say no new taxes without a vote of the people, basically what you're saying is, don't bother me with the facts, my mind is made up. And that's not what you hired us for. You hired us to do the diligence on the issues that you as voters don't feel like doing or don't have the time to do. You hire us to do that, to connect those dots and make the best decisions we can, which result in the greatest good of the greatest number. That is our goal, is always the greatest good of the greatest number. So no, I'm quite confident that that policy will bring this town to a complete halt.
Mr. Nelson, I'll ask you the same question. The subject of bringing all taxes and general obligation bonds to a popular vote is a common theme. Given that in this county it is virtually guaranteed that a group of people who would turn out for a special election would vote against any obligation, do you believe this would produce better long-term results for Douglas County?
Well, number one, I don't buy that premise. I think that with transparency and accountability, that people are able to raise their own taxes. I think that it happens all the time in California. So, to say that we can't understand that we need to raise taxes when we need to raise them, I think that's an insult to our intelligence and who we are. I think that with the explanation, like I said, transparency and accountability, that I would vote for a tax. How many of you would? I'm sure most of you would if it was really needed. I like this greatest good for greatest number of people. That sounds like Spock. And Spock was a socialist. Just for your thought. Thank you.
And finally, the same question for Mr. Walsh, and the question again is, the subject of bringing all taxes and general obligation bonds to a popular vote is a common theme. Given that in this county it is virtually guaranteed that the group of people who turn out for a special election would vote against any obligation, do you believe this would produce better long-term results for Douglas County?
Well, I think it would. I'm a signer of the Taxpayer Protection Pledge, which means the vote of any new taxes goes to the vote of the people for their approval. But I think if the solution is brought forward to the commission that a tax is the only way to fix a particular issue, then I would advocate for that tax, and I would make sure that we market that tax to the people and say, listen, this is good for us. Let's vote for it. But you, again, would have the final say-so. We've had taxes in this county before, like Mr. Lynn just mentioned, the road tax we had. Well, people don't trust government because they took that road tax and put trust the government, and I think the way to do it is to get you involved in all of our decisions with regard to taxes. Thank you.
We good? Okay. Okay, I think I'll get another question, and I'll start with Mr. Nelson.